I don't know how to do it. And we did like with this kind of roller, with this kind of roller, with a small brush, with big brush. Oh, it's just, no, I don't even want to talk about it.
I'm Roberta.
And I'm Duca.
And after 2 years bringing this sailboat that was neglected for over 22 years back to life, it's finally time to start exploring. We are gonna explore a little bit more soon, but not this week. We are gonna spend a month in a marina to do some boat work, so stay tuned because there is a lot to come.
So don't forget to subscribe and to join us every Sunday for a new episode. We have a challenge today. We have all these spare pieces of plywood from when we built the panel and from when we built the support for the freezer. And we want to get all these spare pieces and we want to transform this into a seat on the bow of the boat because we broke our seat. First we need to make a template. So we're gonna glue all the plywood together and make a thick one. Seems like this is meant for this. First I'm gonna just cut these little tips. I'm not crazy. I'm gonna explain you why I cut this weird shape on the plywood. Doesn't it look good?
What's this little duck for?
To make the template of the plywood that needs to have this shape. And the way I'm gonna do that is by creating some dots that I can transfer to the plywood later. If I want a dot right here, for example, then I go to the plywood and I match the shape to the shape and I draw a dot. So now I do another one and then I do another one. Let's see if we can find ourselves in these drawings.
And now comes the challenge.
We can do it. Hold like this.
Getting beautiful. And just like that, we have a round piece.
Seems promising. Feels really good actually. Can we cut this piece? Oh, no. This isn't the one.
No. This was just one warm-up because Duca drew on the wrong piece because we were saving that one for the engine room. So let's do it again. Now it's ready.
Kind of. This is a little bit bigger than we need. So I'm gonna cut this and then we need to trim. Let's hope this works. The tip here. The idea now is to get these two thin pieces of plywood and glue with epoxy filler these other ones on the other side, and in this way we're gonna have a much thicker plywood.
With you the sun is shining 24/7, 'cause when we're together it feels like we're in heaven. If it will get dark you'll be my million stars. I know I can lean on you. Oh, you catch me like a leaf falling from a tree. If I be a shooting star, you make a wish. No, I don't fake this kind of feeling, never felt so real. My heart is on the table 'cause you're my everything. 'Cause when you're around I know it's true. The way you make me feel is so good, baby. So good, so good. Every single day we spend apart, I wanna be with you.
Now we wait.
Actually, it was kind of slippery, so we are gonna add some screws.
Yeah, it didn't work because the weight on the top is too heavy and the wood was just slide on the top of each other, so now we're gonna put it in place. So now we wait and let's see if this works.
Gonna take a while. Project number 2 of the day.
While we wait for the epoxy to dry, we're gonna install the last block of the steering system, and this one is the one that we fixed, and now it works flawless. So we're gonna install every single one now this way. So in case this locking pin fail, it's gonna stay in place anyways because this won't fall. I just found out that we scratched a tiny bit the weld when we took the block out, so I'm gonna apply some epoxy. I think it's gonna work.
And now we wait for this to dry and it's another project in hold.
Time for the truth. Are you curious?
Nervous actually.
If
If this is dry, that means we can install the block in place.
One less project. It's awesome.
While Duca is learning how to do some splicing, I'm washing some clothes. and I'm filling the water tank. Finally the water is done.
It's been a long time we fill up the tank. I'm impressed. we save a lot of water actually.
And the reason why I'm washing some clothes inside the boat instead of using the washing machine is because we want to waste this old water as we are in the marina, and we now have some chlorine to put inside the tank. It's pretty good. So here we have the water being filled, and here's how I'm hanging the clothes. So what we are gonna do now, we are gonna measure
The steering cable. I think we mentioned that like 20,000 times already, but we're gonna replace this stainless steel cable for Dyneema. We need to measure because we need to know the size of the new cable. So let's trade this up.
So one of them has 8 meters and 88, and the other one 685.
So now we can do the math, see how much we need extra for the splicings.
Now that the epoxy is dry, it's time to go back to this project.
For the first cut, it looks pretty good to me. I mean, it doesn't look good, but I'm gonna put in place. It's not gonna fit, of course. I'm gonna trim a little bit more, and then I'm gonna sand, and it's gonna look much better. I just need to take these screws out. Not bad at all. Trim a little bit. Check this out. It fits really well in place. We're gonna fill the whole thing with epoxy 1 or 2 times, and then we're gonna paint, and then we're gonna have a non-skid on the top. But first I need to grind this down. It's gonna take a few days to get this ready. We do this a little bit every day, and then by the time we finish other tasks, we are gonna finish this, and it's gonna be awesome because it's been broken for a while.
But today it's already late for some painting, because I can tell by the clothes that are not drying as they were in the morning, so we are gonna leave this to paint tomorrow. So
Yeah.
today is just sanding.
Yeah, I can get this ready first, and then did you see the edges?
Ah, beautiful.
Round edges.
It's a beautiful day today, so it's gonna be epoxy day. So the idea is to apply epoxy on the little seat that we are gonna have on the bow, and also the wind vane that broke this piece. So let's get started. I'm afraid that the epoxy is gonna glue on the masking tape, so we're gonna put the masking tape on the bottom and the one with plastic on the top.
I'm pretty sure it won't, but we'll see.
I'm pretty sure it will glue on the masking tape.
Si no puedes decir sí, ¿quién puede decidir?
Hope for the best. Second step.
Sin rodeos dices simplemente soy así. Si no nos lo notificas, el silencio sigue ahí. No simules ser sincero, reconoce, solo di que sí. No puedes decir sí.
Our solar panels for the Bimini finally arrived. So Duque is there signing the papers to get them, and I'm going to meet him to take the solar panels to the boat. I think we have one more project to do now. We need to put all the wires for the solar panels to install the charger, controller, and everything. That's it? You didn't need me to carry this.
I just miss you. I want you next to me. So these are flexible panels, so they're really, really thin. That's why we have so many watts on one small box. Not that small, but this is like 440 watts. It's almost the same amount as solar panels as we have right now. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait
so
to install
light,
this.
you can carry it by yourself.
Even without my hands.
And, and it's actually a good shade. I can't wait to have the Bimini canvas ready to put them in place.
Can't wait to have the solar panels working so we have more power on the boat. The problem is every time we want to edit videos, it's because it's rainy. We run out of battery, so we need a way of charging them quickly whenever we have sun. So with these ones we will have excess, so we can use and store some. wait, you came just one. Where's the second one? I need to see what happened. Thanks a lot to Zentrax. They've been partner with us since day one of the refit. They are the first company that believe on our project, and that's so cool. And until today, it's been like 3 years, we still work together, and anytime we need some extra stuff, we call them, we decide what we need, they help us with the technical stuff, and even with the products. I think it's the most beautiful solar panel I have ever seen.
Me too.
Literally.
It's so
like,
beautiful.
It's so well built, it's just amazing.
Well, after many days of discussion, we found out that FedEx lost one of our panels, that later they found it on their lost and found. The crazy thing is that even though they sent just one panel, they charged shipping plus importing tax for 2 panels. Luckily, Zentrax helped us as always and sent an extra one right away. Thanks so much, guys, you are awesome.
So now that this side is dry to the touch, flip and apply to the other side. Apply more because it's gonna go down.
We are starting up the day here. This is my new style. I'm gonna try to film me sanding the tow rails. Let's go. So now,
What's that?
I forgot the name in English.
Degrease.
Degrease. I'm gonna apply some degrease in the places I sanded. Right here. And get it ready to be painted.
We just remembered that there is something else we need to paint on the boat that we've been waiting for so long. Since October last year, we went to the boat show in Annapolis, so we got this marine grip. We don't really like the non-skid on our deck. It's so slippery already, and in the long term we want to find another solution for our deck, and we decided we want to try this. It's like a sticker. It comes on box and are these little pieces that you just, double side tape on the deck. But in order to do that, we need to take the non-skid, and we don't want to do the whole boat without knowing if we really like the product. So we decided to ask them for a box, so we could try actually. And after like 6 months, if we like, then we can do the entire deck. So in order to do that, we need to send out the non-skid that we have and paint with fresh PU paint.
The idea is to put in the center.
So somewhere, I think it's good. What do you guys think?
This is all we have, so I think it's a good shape.
And it's a place that we actually gonna try. That's the main thing. I don't want to install in a place that's just beautiful and we're not even gonna step on it. Here's a place that I all the time step when I go up the mast, when I go down the mast, when I take the center board that I went up, and it's gonna also get waves and sun and everything. So it's gonna be a thing, a really good test. So now we're just gonna mark around, apply some masking tape, and then we're gonna sand this. Why is it always so hard for us to paint with polyurethane paint? Thing is, the polyurethane paint, when we don't use the compressor, the spray gun, it seems like creates so much bubble. I don't know how to do it. And we did like with this kind of roller, with this kind of roller, with a small brush, with big brush. It's just, no, I don't even want to talk about it. While we wait for this one to dry, Roberto is painting the tow rail with the same paint.
Here is okay, there is no problem if we do any mistake.
Yeah, a perfect smooth surface. It's just so tough. To be honest, we even took the paint out. We paint once, we're like, no, it's terrible. So we cleaned the whole paint off and we did it again, and it's still not the best job. It's always kind of depressing. I mean, like, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We just hope the surface is really flat, otherwise the glue of the non-skid is not gonna be even and it might peel off, I guess. So let's wait for this to dry and see what happens. Good morning. So the seat for the bow of the boat is almost ready. I just need an extra sanding on a few fixings I did on the fairing compound. Let's wait to dry a little bit longer. And while we do that, I'm gonna do something that we've been postponing for a long time. We have way too many blocks around the deck. And the blocks hit the deck. And when it hit the deck, breaks the paint. And if it breaks the paint, expose the metal. If expose the metal, it's gonna come rust. So what I'm gonna do is to glue some EVA right on the bottom of the blocks to make sure when it hits the deck, it hits the EVA instead of the deck and won't break the paint. Good news, in the end, this ended up being a lot better than I believe it was gonna be. When it dry, it just flat it out. I just sand it a little bit. I believe I need to wait for another day to dry properly because the weather tonight was pretty chilly. That's really exciting. I think it's gonna be a good result in the end. Good start of the day. Now I need to do some epoxy on the bow seat. Now all I need to do is to apply some epoxy paint as a primer. Epoxy with time will get yellow because there is no UV protection. So after epoxy we apply polyurethane and I think it's gonna be beautiful. Are you ready?
Never.
Yeah, what are we gonna do now?
We are gonna assemble the exhaust system.
Yeah, you saw us do that a few times in the past if you watch our channel long enough. And every time we assemble the exhaust system for the engine, it's always a mess. We need to put this thick hose in place, and that's really tough. And we need to put this in place. That's also really tough. But sometimes
You gotta do it, you gotta do it.
So let's get to work. Next step, this beast need to go in place, and that's the tricky moment. The tricky thing is that we need to go in here and also on the hose at the same time. So I'm gonna bend this a lot. Turn around more, right there.
The best hose we have.
Something need to be easy on this job. This is the only easy thing is to put this in place. Other than that, everything else is hard.
Good morning.
Painting again. Yeah, this week is gonna be a lot of painting. Next step is stopping postponing things. Yeah, we've been talking about solar panels for a while now that we want 2 extra solar panels on the Bimini. In order to do that, we need to install a new charging controller. This is exactly the same model that we have already. We have 2 already installed MPPT controller from Zentrax, 30 amps. So we're gonna have a third one. And also, we found a problem. We used to use this kind of fuse box. And that's all good until we saw it's terrible. And also,
This used to be red and we found it black.
of course, the first thing we did when we found this, we got scared. And of course, the second thing we did was to call Fred, because Fred's our electrical guru. And he said, no, the fuse actually didn't fail. The problem is this kind of connectors. The problem about this kind of connections is that sometimes it gets loose and has too little of a contact area. And that means that you have a thick wire. And then when it gets to here, it thinks it's a really thin wire because you don't have too much metal in contact with metal. And then it burns this end. And that means that the fuse didn't break because wasn't a overcurrent, was just too much heat created by this little size of wire, and then burned this but didn't burn the fuse.
Summing up, we decided to change this one for this one.
The problem is, the reason why we bought this one is because we didn't find a better one in Brazil back then. Now we found, a year ago, and now we found this blue sea one that's really expensive in Brazil. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We decide we rather have an expensive one that works than a cheap one that doesn't work.
So what's the difference between these?
So the huge difference in between these two are the way the wire connects to the fuse box. So this one is a screw in place, so that means we guarantee there is always enough contact area in between the connector and the box. And also we're gonna do something different because we used to have one of these in between the solar panel and the charge controller, and then another one in between the charge controller and the batteries. The manufacturer of the panels and the charging controller, Zentrax, they say we need to have a fuse box in between the controller and the batteries. That's gonna be this one. And in between the controller and the solar panels, we just need to have a way of disconnecting.
That we already have it.
Yeah, we already have on the solar panels, we have the connection in between the wire and the solar panel, and that is already considered a disconnect. So we're only gonna have that, because if we want to disconnect, we can go to the solar panel and do that. And that's the first step today. We are gonna disconnect the solar panels, all solar panels disconnected. So these are connected in between them, but they end up here. Right now we have 3 panels in parallel, plus 3 panels in parallel. They are independent from each other. So we want to try 3 in series and 3 in series, and the reason for that is because we have less amperage and less current. We have like 6 millimeters wire with less current. It's gonna be better. We're gonna do that after we're done wiring the rest of the other solar panels, one thing at a time.
Easy.
So now I just need to replace the connector for another kind of connector. Now we just need to shrink, and this is gonna be so much better. But I'm gonna spare you from all this, and we're just gonna listen to some good music and see some time lapses, because otherwise it's just boring. Enjoy the music. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Oh yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, lately on the past days we don't really know what's morning and afternoon. We are like a little bit lost in time, and the reason for that's because 4 or 5 days?
5 days.
5 days ago we tested positive for COVID.